She was rich, rude, and cold. A billionaire who thought love was for the weak. But when she hired a strong, kind bodyguard to protect her, something strange happened. His heart was pure. His touch was gentle. And slowly, she changed. From snobby to sweet, from proud to loving. This is the story of how a black bodyguard taught a billionaire how to feel again, and how they both found the kind of love money can never buy. Before we start the story, leave a comment to let us know where you're watching from. Like and subscribe to support our community. Your support means a lot to us. Now, enjoy the story as we continue. Olivia Sterling lived a life that many people dreamed of, but only few ever experienced. Every morning, she woke up in a mansion so grand that even the rooms seemed to shine with luxury. In her mind, money was the measure of all things, and she believed that being wealthy meant being perfect. Her days were filled with endless meetings, lavish parties, and attending events where everyone admired her style and success. But deep down, Olivia felt something was missing. She had never known what it was to care about someone beyond the glitter and gold of her world. One bright sunny morning, as Olivia prepared for a high society brunch, her father's trusted advisor introduced her to Marcus Thompson. Marcus was not like the people Olivia was used to. He was kind, humble, and had a gentle strength about him. Standing tall in his uniform, Marcus had a calm yet determined look in his eyes, and even though he was hired to protect Olivia from any harm, something in his presence made her look twice. Olivia's first thought was, "Who is this man? I don't need a bodyguard who talks like he's from a simpler world." But Marcus only smiled and said in a soft, friendly tone, "Miss Olivia, I'm here to keep you safe. I hope I can be of service." And though she responded with a curt nod, that simple exchange marked the beginning of a journey that would change her world forever. For weeks after Marcus joined Olivia's team, little incidents began to stir up feelings in both of them. In her lavish routines, Olivia was never used to interruptions. One afternoon, while attending a charity auction at her own mansion, she found herself frustrated with the strict rules and formal language demanded by the event. The guests all talked the same fancy way, and every moment felt rehearsed. Then, as if fate had planned it, Marcus stepped in to smooth over an awkward moment when a guest accidentally spilled a drink on the expensive carpet. With a warm chuckle, Marcus reassured everyone, "It's all right, sometimes a little mess just reminds us we are all human." His words, so sincere and free of pretense, echoed in the wide hall. Olivia listened as whispers floated among the guests, and for the first time in years, she wondered if life could be as simple and joyful as Marcus made it seem. Later that evening, when the moon shone softly over the mansion's sprawling gardens, Olivia found herself wandering alone. Even the beauty of her home could not mask the loneliness that had crept into her heart. Lost in thought, she almost didn't notice Marcus approaching quietly. "Miss Olivia," he said kindly, "are you all right?" Surprised by his gentle concern, she hesitated. She was not used to having her feelings cared for. "Fine," she answered, her voice a little too brisk. "I'm just tired." Marcus gave her a small smile and said, "Sometimes, the richest hearts feel empty when they are not filled with kindness. You deserve to feel joy, not just the shimmer of wealth." His words stayed with Olivia long after he walked away, opening a door in her heart that had been shut tight for many years. As days turned into weeks, small yet meaningful interactions began to alter Olivia's view of the world. At a charity picnic organized at a local park, Marcus had arranged a special game for the children from the nearby community center. Olivia watched from the side as Marcus laughed with the little ones, helped them fly kites, and even played silly games that made everyone forget their worries. For the first time, Olivia saw that there was much to life besides the endless stream of fancy parties and expensive dinners. The garden, the open air, and the honest smiles of children brought a warmth into her soul that she had never felt in the cold marble halls of her home. During one such moment, while sitting on a bench under a giant oak tree, Olivia admitted to herself, "Maybe I have been missing out. All this gold and glitter isn't enough." Marcus, who had been tidying up nearby, came over. "Sometimes, we don't realize what we need until it is right in front of us," he said. "Love, kindness, and simple joy are treasures that money cannot buy." Olivia's eyes widened in surprise. "You really believe that?" she asked softly. Marcus nodded. "With all my heart. I believe that even someone who has everything can learn something new if they let in a little love." This conversation, simple as it was, planted a seed in Olivia, a seed that would grow into a newfound perspective on life. The summer days grew longer and warmer as Olivia found herself spending more time with Marcus. No longer confined by the rigid routines of high society, she began joining him on small adventures throughout the city. They visited a quiet little diner, walked through the lively market streets, and even sat by a tranquil river where the water glittered in the sunlight. Every new experience was a lesson in simplicity. In the diner, over a meal that cost only a few dollars, Marcus explained how every flavor told a story of care and tradition. At the market, he introduced her to friendly vendors who sold fresh fruits and handmade crafts, each person proud of their work. Even the sound of children playing in the park held a melody of hope. Olivia started to realize that the world outside her mansion was full of rich, hidden treasures, treasures of love, laughter, and friendship. "I never knew life could be this real," she remarked one afternoon, watching a street performer entertain a small crowd with funny tricks and clever jokes. Marcus smiled. "Real life sometimes comes with a little mess and a lot of joy. It's in these little moments that we learn who we really are." Slowly, the walls Olivia had built around her heart began to crumble. She began to see that love was not something measured by money or appearances, but by the moments shared, the kindness given, and the joy felt in everyday simplicity. Just as the sunny days of change were beginning to warm Olivia's heart, dark clouds started to gather. Rumors began swirling among her high society friends and even in the media. An unexpected family dispute threatened to shake the foundations of her fortune. Whispers of betrayal and scandal echoed through the marble corridors of her mansion, and Olivia found herself at a crossroads. Her refined world, built on certainty and control, was suddenly full of questions. One evening, while she sat alone in her favorite room filled with golden light from the sunset, Olivia confided in Marcus. "I'm scared. Everything I've known, everything I've built, it might all fall apart," she admitted, her voice trembling with uncertainty. Marcus's calm presence was like a soothing balm. "When storms come, they do not last forever," he assured her. "Sometimes, it is when everything feels like it is falling apart that we truly discover what matters." That night, the winds of change blew hard. Olivia found herself fighting not only the external pressures of scandal and betrayal, but also the internal struggles of her own mind. The familiar glitter of wealth no longer provided comfort. It only reminded her of the very emptiness she had always tried to hide. The crisis came to a head at an important family meeting in the grand hall of the mansion. Tensions were high, and every word seemed loaded with accusation and hurt feelings. Olivia's relatives argued that her decisions, influenced by her new ways of thinking, would ruin the legacy they had all built together. In the middle of this storm, Marcus quietly watched from the doorway, standing as a silent pillar of support. Olivia rose from her seat, her eyes shining with determination. "I know who I was," she said, her voice steady, "but I also know who I am becoming. And I choose to love, for real." The room fell silent. Some family members scoffed, while others exchanged glances of concern. But in that moment, Olivia's voice carried more truth than any fancy word or empty promise ever could. Marcus joined her side, and together they stepped forward. "Love is not a weakness," Marcus declared softly. "It is the true strength that can mend broken hearts and build bridges where there were walls before." In that powerful moment, Olivia and Marcus united in front of everyone. Their commitment to each other, and to a way of life that valued truth over appearances, set off ripples of change. The very people who once scoffed at Marcus's humble background began to wonder if perhaps there was more to life than what they had always known. As time passed, Olivia found herself walking a new path. No longer was her world dictated solely by banks, business, and the endless search for perfection. Instead, she began to understand that true wealth lay in the simple moments, the laughter of friends, the warmth of a kind smile, and the depth of genuine love. Every day was a lesson. Marcus, ever her patient teacher, showed her how to appreciate little things, planting flowers in a garden, sharing a homemade meal with neighbors, or even reading a bedtime story to a child in need. Through these acts, Olivia discovered that the richness of life was not measured in dollars but in the depth of one's heart. One day, while helping an elderly neighbor fix her creaky front door, Olivia paused to reflect, "I used to think all these money and glitter would fill me up. But what fills me now is the warmth of helping someone else, the joy of sharing a laugh, and the comfort of someone being by my side even in my darkest moments." Marcus smiled and patted her hand. "It is in giving that we receive the true treasures of life," he said simply. Olivia began to host simple gatherings at her mansion, ones where the focus was not on expensive cuisine or elaborate decor, but on genuine connection and shared experiences. The mansion's grand halls echoed with real laughter and heartfelt conversations. Slowly, those around her began to understand that the changes within her were not a loss of wealth, but a gain of something far more lasting and beautiful. With each passing day, the bond between Olivia and Marcus grew stronger. Their hearts, once separated by worlds, were now intertwined by understanding and affection. They spent long evenings under starry skies, talking about dreams, hopes, and the lessons they had learned along the way. One clear night, while the moon cast a soft glow over the mansion's gardens, Olivia turned to Marcus and whispered, "You have given me something I never thought I needed, the ability to love and be loved in return." Marcus, his eyes twinkling with compassion, replied, "And you, Olivia, have shown me that every heart, no matter how guarded, can find a way to be free and happy when it opens up to kindness." In that moment, surrounded by the simple beauty of nature and the quiet support of those who mattered, Olivia realized that she had undergone a transformation far greater than any change in her fortune. It was a change that reached deep into her soul, a change powered by love and a desire to see the world in its truest, most caring light. As they sat together, the gentle rustle of leaves and the soft chirp of crickets provided a perfect soundtrack to their shared dreams. It was the kind of love that could change lives, mend broken hearts, and bring hope where there was once only glitter and gold. Yet, as in every great story, trials and tests came to challenge their newly forged bond. Not all were happy to see Olivia change. Some high society friends whispered behind closed doors, and a few family members doubted whether love could truly mend what years of wealth had hardened. A fateful event arrived when a very close friend of Olivia's, someone she had once trusted, betrayed her confidence. The shock hit her hard. Tears streamed down her face as she questioned if she could handle another blow. But it was Marcus who held her close, reassuring her with gentle words, "Even in the darkest moments, love shines the brightest. You are not alone." That incident became a turning point. While the pain was deep, Olivia began to understand that vulnerability was not a sign of weakness but a testament to her new strength. With each tear, she learned that opening her heart to love also meant accepting that there might be hurt, but that the joy of genuine connection always outweighed the risk. In a quiet conversation by the fireplace on a chilly evening, Olivia admitted, "I sometimes wish I could go back to the easy days, when everything was shiny and simple. But now I know that the simple days filled with honest love are worth every challenge." Marcus squeezed her hand and replied, "Our hearts grow stronger by learning to forgive, by choosing to trust again, and by daring to love even after being hurt." Their conversation was filled with hope, and slowly, the scars of betrayal began to fade, replaced by new dreams for a happier future. The storm of challenges had now reached a crescendo. Rumors spread, and the pressure on Olivia was immense. At a grand board meeting held in the mansion's large conference room, key figures in her company questioned her new ways. "Are you sure you can lead us when your choices seem guided by feelings rather than cold, hard logic?" they asked skeptically. Olivia stood tall in front of the room, her voice steady as she replied, "I may have been raised in wealth and glitter, but I now understand that success is not only measured in profits, it is measured by the good we do and the love we share. I choose to lead with my heart." There was a tense silence. Eyes darted back and forth as if weighing her every word. Marcus, always in the background, kept watchful and ready, a silent testament to the loyalty and strength behind her new choices. That day, a crucial vote was held. In a moment that would change the course of her company and her life forever, Olivia's vision of a kinder, more generous future was narrowly approved. The victory, though hard-won, was a symbol. Love and compassion could indeed influence even the most hardened boardrooms and high society circles. Her colleagues, still a bit unsure, began to see the smile on her face and the newfound light in her eyes, and slowly, they too started to wonder if perhaps this was the path to true prosperity. With the crisis behind her, Olivia set out to rebuild not only her company but also her personal life. Every day was dedicated to making choices that improved the world around her. Marcus, by her side every step of the way, was both her strength and her friend. They began to launch community projects, a free school for children, a community garden, and a shelter for those in need. At the grand opening of the new community center, children laughed, neighbors hugged, and a sense of genuine community filled the air. Olivia took a moment to look around at the faces full of hope and wonder. "This," she said softly to Marcus, "is the true wealth I have been searching for." Marcus grinned, It is a life filled with purpose and love, more valuable than any coin. Together they embraced a new world where every act of kindness created ripples, transforming not only their lives but the lives of everyone they touched. Not every day was a battle. Many days were filled with small, joyful moments that stitched their hearts even closer. One sunny morning, Olivia and Marcus took a simple walk by the riverside. They sat on the bank, watching ducks glide over the water and children chasing bubbles. "Do you remember the first time we met?" Marcus asked with a playful smile. Olivia laughed. "I do. I thought you were an ordinary guard with too many common words, and yet, here we are, sharing a day as simple and perfect as this." They talked about dreams, about the beauty in small things, and about how even the most complex hearts could be mended with a little patience and a lot of love. That day, as the shadows of the trees danced across the water, Olivia realized that love had indeed taught her a new kind of richness. There was no price tag on these moments, only the value of kindness, authenticity, and shared laughter. Over time, the transformation in Olivia was so complete that people who once mocked her snobbish ways began to admire the woman she had become. She learned that love was patient and kind, and with Marcus as her guide, she learned to value all people regardless of their background or wealth. One afternoon, while hosting an intergenerational event that brought together children, elders, and everyone in between, Olivia shared a heartfelt speech. "I have learned," she began, "that every person's story is precious. Love is not something reserved for one kind of people, it belongs to all of us." The crowd cheered, and many were moved to tears by her sincerity. Marcus, standing quietly beside her, saw the real joy in her eyes, a deep, honest glow that could never be bought, only earned by living a life true to one's heart. Their love was no longer a secret or a quiet partnership, it was a shining beacon for others, proof that differences can be mended with understanding and trust. Just as all seemed well, life threw one final test. A sudden crisis, a major financial setback at the company, or an unexpected personal emergency, threatened the harmony that Olivia had worked so hard to build. Overnight, whispers turned into worried conversations, and the walls of doubt began to close in again. One late evening, as heavy rain pelted against the mansion windows, Olivia sat alone, overwhelmed by the weight of the challenge. Tears welled in her eyes, and for the first time in a long while, she felt vulnerable to the point of nearly giving up. Without hesitation, Marcus entered the room. "Olivia, you are stronger than any storm that comes our way," he said softly, kneeling beside her. "I know it feels like everything is falling apart, but remember, love is our true strength." Hearing him, Olivia took a deep breath. In that very moment, she realized that the love she had learned, real, gentle, and powerful, was enough to carry her through any hardship. Together, they started to tackle the crisis, one step at a time. Meetings were held, problems were solved with honest conversation, and slowly, the dark cloud began to lift. Olivia's courage, fueled by love and supported by Marcus's steadfast presence, became the catalyst for positive change once again. With the final crisis behind them, a new dawn broke not only for Olivia but for everyone in her circle. The lessons learned through trials, and the deep bonds formed in the heat of adversity, had changed her forever. No longer defined solely by her wealth, she now stood as a leader who believed in heart-first decisions. In a grand celebration held in the newly built community center, Olivia and Marcus unveiled a project that would forever unite their past with their hopeful future, a scholarship fund for children from all walks of life, built to support dreams and encourage kindness. As the crowd applauded, Olivia took the stage and said, "Today we celebrate not money, not power, but the wealth of love that lives in each one of us." In that moment, the words that had once been foreign to her heart turned into a promise to always live a life of compassion and to spread the message that true love changes everything. Marcus joined her on stage, and together they waved at the crowd with smiling faces that spoke of promise, hope, and a future where every heart was valued. Years passed, and the story of Olivia and Marcus grew into a legend, a tale told to children and admired by everyone who longed for real love. Their journey from glittering palaces to humble community gatherings became a timeless reminder that change is possible and that love is the richest treasure of all. Olivia, once known only as a snobby billionaire, found true joy in living a simple, compassionate life. Marcus continued to be her loyal partner, friend, and teacher, a shining example of how kindness and honesty can bridge any divide. In quiet moments, when the sun set behind the community center or when a gentle breeze stirred the leaves of the old oak tree in the garden, people would say, "That is the light of true love, the one Marcus and Olivia taught us all. And so, their legacy lived on, not in the vaults of money or the halls of power, but in the hearts of everyone they had touched, a lesson that love, no matter where it is found, is a treasure beyond measure. Hey there, story lovers! If you want to add a little more magic, adventure, and heartwarming moments to your day, make sure you subscribe to the Daily Stories channel on YouTube. Join our community of dreamers and seekers of inspiration. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss our new story every single day.